My most memorable experience last year is when I was asked to go up and speak in front of the conference. It was 850 people, and I was nervous as heck, but I did it, and it's an experience that I will never forget. I'm not a big public speaker, and it was freedom for me. I was able to go up, talk, and people actually listened. And I realized this is a family.
There've been so many, but a personal one for me in 2007, and it was my 10-year anniversary, and I reached out to the NSA and I said, I'd like to give a little speech. And I got up in front of 650 people and poured my heart out to what the NSA meant to me. And someone from South Carolina, it's on their website, the NSA chapter in South Carolina. I don't know it right now, but if you Google Greg Benedict NSA, you could read my speech, and that's been the highlight of my career here.
I think one of my most memorable moments was in Cleveland, when our family programs was really beginning to grow, and we had a first-timer family up there speaking, and the dad was explaining how earlier in the year they were having a discussion at the kitchen table, and they asked their kids, where do you want to go on vacation? Do you want to go to Disney, or do you want to go to Cleveland for the NSA conference? And I think it was the sibling of the person that stuttered who said, I want to go to Cleveland. I mean, that was very, I guess that's something I wish I had when I was that young, and I wish I had that in my family growing up. I didn't have that, but now I have the NSA family.
I was kind of coerced into doing an open mic in front of like 100 people. I was scared to death. I had never talked in a microphone ever in my life, and people knew it and knew that I was ready, and it was so long ago now. But I got up there and I said some basic things. I think I might have even cried, but it really, and then everybody, all 100 people came up to me afterwards and said, great job, and yay, good for you. And it was just so loving and supportive. And I thought, wow, I just faced a huge fear and only got love and support. And so for me, that was a real aha moment, that I didn't have to let stuttering hold me back.
Mine has to be my first conference as a first timer, as somebody that had hid my stuttering for all of my life, basically. And at that first conference in Long Beach, California, I went to the covert stutterers panel. I had never heard the word covert before. And covert simply means that you're hiding your stutter. And when the people at the panel were explaining what it was and some of the things that you do to try to hide your stutter, I sat there saying, oh my God, that's me. That's me. And for the first time, I understood what I had been doing, that there was a name for it, and that it was normal, the feelings that I had experienced. And in my second year, I proudly went on that panel and told my story about how I had been in hiding for so many years, and making the leap from being at the panel and realizing that my story was being told in somebody else's words, and then a year later using my voice to tell that story. That was my aha moment that keeps me coming back.
There was this one individual who came up just to say their name, that was all they wanted to do, and it was so moving, to me that person, got the chance to be in the limelight, if you will, and got to conquer one of their biggest challenges, right there, right in front of our eyes, and that was the golden moment for me.
That would be the children. The first time I said, if there's anything I can do, please tell me. And they asked me, do you want to help at the scavenger hunt? And there were all these kids, and they all stutter, and they were asked to find different items, and they were walking around asking people for items, and they all stuttered. But nobody was scared. They were out there, they were talking, and they were asking and talking to strangers, and they were so happy. There was not an inch of fear there, because they felt, here we are one. Everybody stutters, I can be me. And those kids, those happy faces, they are worth $1 billion. It's just amazing.
Stacy was checking in at the hotel. It was the first time she ever went outside of her world. And she was at the registration desk, very severe. And she was having a hard time getting through her first name. Never met her, and I heard her. And so I walked up, didn't want to talk for her, but at that moment I know she needed to know where she was with us. So I just stood beside the strange new young woman, put my arm around her. She did it. Then, it's 4 days later, and I'm walking by again, and Stacy's checking out. And Stacy is an entirely different person. Stutter didn't go away. But there was this, she looked in the eye, her carriage was up, and she was just a different person. And she still remains involved today, and I've never forgotten that. That summed up for me what we're all about and what these few days do to us and what they mean to us. Keeps me coming back.
Probably my first convention, which was in 1990 in Anaheim, California. A former NBA basketball player by the name of Bob Love was the keynote speaker, and just hearing his story from being an all-star many times with the Chicago Bulls back in an era when athletes who stuttered, definitely were not interviewed and did not have the same endorsement opportunities as other athletes. And to hear his story about how he went from NBA star to waiting tables and working his way up the ranks in his post NBA career was just a powerful, powerful message.
One aha moment for me was my first conference in Chicago of 2000, and it was at the end of a long conference. At the closing ceremony, there was this beautiful woman. She got up there to speak. It took her what seemed like 10 minutes just to get 2 sentences out. She stuttered on every single word, and then she sang "Wind Beneath My Wings" right after that, and she sang it probably the most beautifully I've ever heard anyone sing a song. And I thought to myself, how can this beautiful woman who could barely utter a word sing so beautifully. It just got me, and the tears were just flowing, and I knew that I was in the right place. The other one was when I did my covert stuttering workshop, because I normally choose to hide my speech outside the conference environment. It was my second conference, and I kept getting asked, are you an SLP? Are you an SLP? Because I didn't stutter. And I came after 8 minutes of my presentation on the last day of the conference. I got caught on a word that I could not substitute and change. I skipped it, but the audience wouldn't let me do that. So I picked up a pen and I wrote the word on the poster. They continued to tell me to say it, say it. I spent about 5 minutes, what seemed like half an hour up there, trying to say the word. I finally said it with a little bit of disfluency, and after that time, I realized I proved that I belong, even though it was one stutter in 2 years, and that just changed my life and took me on a journey of trying to accept myself as a person who stutters.